Window capture. Trying to do this on half a monitor. All right. Here we go. Up. Yeah, I started watching a bunch of your unboxing videos, and the only question that I have is how in the hell, like, when you cut that PSA graded card in while it was, still in its shipping bag, like how much did the price get hit for that?
I luckily with that card, I was able to clean it up pretty darn good. Like, I don't know if you've ever worked with PSA cases, but you can kind of use headlight polish cleaner and you can buff it out. So it buffed out pretty well. Not perfect, but like,
You got lucky.
Yes. I got extremely lucky. And I mean, I was streaming that whole thing, so as soon as I did it, right, my stomach just dropped. But it's like, I'm on camera right now, so I mean, let's try to keep the mood. Yeah, dude, I felt like an idiot.
Windshield headlight buffer.
Yep. Some good old Plast X is what I used to buff.
Now it's time to figure out how the hell I'm going to open this damn show. All right. Turn off the music. Yeah, I posted it in your Discord, but I'm like, I don't think anyone's going to show up because everyone that has questions have probably already asked you in the server.
Yeah, I know. My Discord, they still might, but I agree. It's not the audience that might be as curious as other people.
All right. So let me get a couple of things out of the way. All right. Ready?
Absolutely.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is Happy Dude here, and this is going to be a weird one because it is completely out of the blue, not in my wheelhouse at all. I would like to welcome my guest, Greg, from YouTube, GetTheGregGames. How are you doing, sir?
Fantastic. I'm really happy that you're having me on here to have this chat today.
One of the first things that I came across your conversation with Carl Jobs after the whole WADA. I think it wasn't Golden Auction. It was
Heritage. The whole Heritage, Carl, and
what kind of I understand that when reading something, you have to take information with a huge grain of salt. But there was enough receipts attached to that. When you went into the interview, was there some things that you, like, just by watching the video, you knew were facts about the whole WADA Heritage situation?
Like, it's stuff I already knew prior to watching Carl's? Is that kind of what you mean?
Yes. Was there anything going into it that you knew to be 100% fact?
Yeah, for a lot of the people already operating in the sealed and grading world, a lot of what Carl presented wasn't brand new information. It's stuff that we have been dealing with, navigating, putting up with, whatever word or phrase you want to use for it. A lot of the people are and were already aware of a lot of the stuff Carl presented. He did bring some new stuff to the table, and I'm glad that he brought it out for everyone to be on the same page about the stuff. But yeah, that was the world.
Was there anything that you, like, obviously you've got, like, I'm trying to think of the right way to word this, but you went through WADA before for grading?
I did back in 2019, and that was the last time I have. And that has to do with like their backlog stuff. That has to do with issues with their casings not being great. I'm sending from Canada, so it creates other issues where, let's say their casing isn't good or I have an issue with the label or something. Sending it back and forth through customs just increases the risk so much that I didn't want to deal with grading any kind of personal stuff until it kind of got more sorted and all put together. I'm still kind of waiting for that.
So when I first joined your channel and I basically asked you, why do you grade? Like, why do you get stuff graded? And it was preservation. First off, was there anything like when you started sending in your stuff to be graded? At what point did you realize that this complete inbox or this factory sealed game, which was meant to be played, meant to be cracked and messed with? At what point do you realize that there was a lot of money in that object after it got graded?
You realize first, like, back in let's say 11, I kind of got into sealed collecting and researching it since 2009, 2010. You realize that there is money in sealed collecting regardless of graded. Like, you see the premiums that exist on it. The grading part just kind of comes afterwards to add that extra layer of objectification as best as you can, right? No grading is 100% accurate, consistent, whatever. But you add on that third-party opinion to where you can then sell it to someone who doesn't want to put up with all the time and bullshit, who maybe wants to have an item that is in whatever condition, right? Really picky or pristine or investable, speculated, whatever they want to do with it. You now have an item that they can be pretty confident is in the condition that is stated, which if you're dealing with investment pieces, you need that truly special, stupid level of particularity in condition. So it starts with, for myself, right? Long time ago, sealed games obviously had premiums. You see that. And for myself, I just sent off a lot of stuff to grade for personal collection to begin with. It was awesome. It was fun.
What was the first game you got graded?
My first game I got graded was an entire submission. So I had been buying up sealed games for a little bit already. And then finally I was like, awesome, I'm going to try out this whole VGA thing and see how my games stack up. Because you obviously have an idea of your game's condition. And then it's like, okay, well, what does VGA actually think? What does the grader think? What is this third-party scale all about? So I sent in about 12 to 15 games on my first submission. And I really did choose things where I was like, I didn't want anything lower than an 85 plus. I was very particular. I wanted to be confident that I myself could correlate to the actual scale being used by VGA. So I sent off a whole bunch of games. I remember in that submission, I think it's where I started my sealed and graded Dragon Ball Z collection. So there might have been Final Bout Atari and the other version of Final Bout in there on PS1, as well as Paper Mario N64, I remember. I was super excited about that one. And I wish I had it written down. I have so much stuff written down. You'll see on my channel. I don't have the first submission written down, unfortunately. So, but those are a few I remember from it.
Do you still have the holy grail out of that first submission?
The Paper Mario 90 might be that consideration, but for me personally, it was the Final Bout original release PS1, which only got an 80 plus, and I knew it was gonna. It has a rip on it, but that for me was really like just getting a factory sealed version of that game was so cool, so cool.
At what point would you buy a collection expecting it to be like 100% sealed, only to find a rip? At what point would you consider that rip to be so bad you might as well just chalk it up and consider a complete inbox at that point?
Quite bad, honestly. I have a lot of really bad condition sealed items because it creates a kind of Schrodinger's box scenario where the contents inside, the condition of them, will never actually know the conditions inside, right? So my manual and cartridge, they are null. But if I'm just, say, checkbox collecting, I'm doing a full set, I can buy Quarterback Club 2000 on N64 factory sealed for 25 bucks. Maybe it has a rip, some crushing, but I know for a fact then that inside there's a fully complete version of that game. And when we're dealing with posters, registration cards, extra pamphlets, it just knocks it all off, even if the actual overall condition of the sealed game is kind of shitty overall. So I'm pretty lax about some games. You know what I mean? It depends what I'm purchasing and, of course, how much I'm spending on it.
You said in the video that the uh, expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch is going to cause a dip in prices for the N64.
Yep.
Do you think that it would make a overall dip, or just within the particular games that are in the first set of the expansion pack? Because
Yeah,
no, it,
go ahead.
it's like knowing that at any point in time they can continuously add on to that catalog.
Yeah. I wish I would have fleshed out more. It's kind of that YouTube thing where, the video is getting to be 10 minutes long. Most people are going to drop off anyway. So I am going to explain more about my rationale with that prediction, because there's very mixed response. A lot of people say I'm clueless, right? So, and if I end up being wrong on it, I'll fully eat that as well. That's the fun of it, right? You put out the prediction, then you see how right or wrong you were. But so my big thing with that is these super popular player demand games where the actual inherent difficulty of acquisition is purely a price tag. They exist everywhere, right? If we're talking about the most common N64 games, Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, we're going down that whole line of games where, other than price tag, you will see them almost every game store you go to, et cetera, et cetera. And the actual price of the cartridges are very high relative to other cartridge prices in the library, excluding actual rare stuff that has difficulty acquisition. So my big focus for that video is on these games that are going to be on. So the first 9, I believe it is, we're getting on the N64 expansion. Mm-hmm. My first is really focused on those ones, and then other largely propped player demand games that do get added to this. That's where I think we're going to see a big downturn.
Do you think that we're all expecting a retro crash, specifically because of the United States giving out money for COVID and all that other stuff, and people having all of a sudden a plethora of income to purchase what they would like. So, do you think that right as soon, because the world's opening up right now, not as fast as everyone would want it to, but we're not going to get into that. But do you see within let's say 2026, could you see the prices of retro games as a whole, both graded and non-graded, still being at the prices that they are now? Because we're seeing a crash for the 9.8 Mario 64. We saw a crash in that last week, and what was it? Mario won the first printing. I think it was that went for 800,000.
Third or fourth.
Yeah,
but yeah, variants matter a lot when we're talking about the Marios. So we haven't really seen a 1-to-1 on the Marios yet, like the same way we did with Mario 64.
Okay, but do you see that there could quite possibly be a relapse in this, because the bubble is bursting and prices are dropping? But could you see them at some point in the future, 5, 6, 7 years from now, getting back up to these astronomical prices?
Yes, but it's going to be catalyst driven, I think, because we're going through a boom cycle right now, obviously, right? And a huge catalyst for all of it was in sealed world, Wata Games Heritage entered, blah, 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 blah. For cartridges complete in box, COVID happened, stay-at-home culture, free money, blah, blah, blah. So we saw these 2 huge catalysts to both of the markets that caused a boom cycle. I don't know if you follow Pokemon at all, right? The Logan Paul box opening and everything. Pokemon saw a massive catalyst on top of the COVID boom that led to, there you go, that led to an almost instant drop in prices in the next 3 months after the whole, wave of euphoria ended. So if we are going to see prices get back up there in the next 5 to 10 years, we do need to see sustained demand for sealed games, first and foremost, which hopefully they do. I don't know, obviously, right? I have a lot of them. Hopefully people still care about them in 5 to 10 years. We'll see. And catalysts. So a catalyst in the future, it might be water releasing pop reports. That could do a lot to the market. It's going to get people talking and excited. It can be CGC entering into the market in a year or so, or any number of unknown future occurrences that could either drive or collapse prices faster than they are. So right now, if we want to say there's a trend downwards, we will need to see something that breaks that. And it could naturally just happen where we have a little bit of a shift and it goes up, but any kind of actual boom cycle happening again would require another catalyst. That's kind of how I see it anyway.
You said that auctions need to have populated reports for the amounts of games that are being sent in. Mm-hmm. What would be the chance that like let's say if like they said that there was only 2 9.8 A plus Mario 64s.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that that wasn't the same one going through twice?
The games do have UPC numbers on the back, essentially. So,
if the same,
you can. So, I mean, the only thing would be if they cracked it out and put it in a new case, sure. But at that point, we are going down any line of thinking where, okay, well, what is real then, right? So, if we're going to assume what is, if anything, if it's real, we have to assume that these are different copies of the games going through.
Now, I remember you were mentioning in a video of yours about how that there was so many different variants of a particular game.
Mm-hmm.
And one that I mentioned to you was the USA one of WWF No Mercy.
Yeah.
It's current, like last time I checked, it was $400 something right now. Loose.
Crazy.
Has there been something that you would try to go for as far as the rated market, as far as variants go, that is basically like your needle in the haystack?
Like just like weird stuff, you mean? Like getting
the weirdest shit you can find.
I mean, I often do grab niche stuff when I do graded and sealed collecting. I hopped into GBA really early on because I love the console, buying games like, I mean, now, great, they have a little bit of love, but like Jet Grind Radio back in 2015 on GBA. No one gave a shit about that game. I think I picked up for $30 sealed. So I guess it just depends what kind of direction you want to go. I was a full set collector for a long time. I looked at doing NES full set. I never finished it. N64 full set. I'm almost done it. I have Virtual Boy full set. I looked at doing Game Gear full set. I'm about halfway done on that. And GBA full set, which thank God I canceled it because the actual library of GBA is like 50% absolute shit. So, but when when you're exploring all these things, yeah, I dive down rabbit holes, which is why I know about the WWF -1 variant, right? Because I tracked all the color variants. I tracked all the not for resale cartridges on N64. I love diving into the nitty gritty shit and finding stuff that people might not care about that is really interesting.
Like the New Zealand variant of Mario Kart for the Wii. I didn't even know that was a thing until I saw your unboxing video on it. I was like, I'm gonna start paying attention to shit now.
That's what I mean, right? Like every day, even with however long you do this, you can learn new shit every day. Especially if you enter into a new console library. Like if I were to start collecting Nintendo Wii, I would be learning stuff every single day about it. It just variants and stuff run so deep. We're still so unoptimized about what we actually know about variants, print runs, etc. that video game collecting is just so fun in that regard. That's not gaming. That's just collecting side of things.
Now, when you get different variants graded, it won't matter on what it is that is inside the graded case until you go sell it, right?
In what way do you mean? Sorry.
Like let's take into account the New Zealand edition of Mario Kart for the Wii, because that's the only one I know off the top of my head. And let's say you get it graded. No one's going to care that it's a Mario Kart Wii, but if they're looking for that specific one to like fill out an international collection of a particular game or something like that, that the particular variant won't matter until you find a buyer to get to sell it to.
Absolutely. And the more niche and esoteric you go down those roads, they become passion projects. I don't really recommend going down those types of roads if you're, into reselling, making money. If you want to go that route, stick with the more mainstream stuff, in most instances anyway.
What was the, like, do you have a story about, like you said that on a couple of occasions in your unboxed videos that you buy these large collections in order to get the games that you want and then sell to try to recoup some of the money.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you've sold in the past that was a part of a collection that you instantly regretted and wish you got graded?
In the early days, there's a lot of stuff I wish I wouldn't have sold, but I was also working on such lower capital that if I wanted to keep doing what I was doing, which was like buying collections, buying bundles, buying lots, selling stuff, keeping stuff, it just gets to a breaking point of, yeah, I have to sell stuff. It's literally inevitable. So even, I don't know if you saw my story there about Brent's or Mark's collection I bought there of stuff where I instantly sold off the factory sealed GoldenEye 007. Very, very expensive game now. And I instantly sold it for $250, I think it was. Same with Player's Choice Super Mario World. Instantly sold it. 160 US I got for it. And, you know, at the time, I need instant money back. So that's kind of all it is. Do I regret it? No, because at the time, you're making the best decision you possibly can with the information you have. So, yeah, I'd love to hold on to everything, but, you know, hindsight's a bitch.
I guess hindsight is a motherfucker when you think about it.
Yeah,
you know. You can't undo the past. However, if you came across the same situation again, you probably wouldn't do the same thing more than once.
Yeah, you know, I would pick a different order to sell things. Let's put it. You know, even right now, I'm selling stuff that I think has less potential long term because, again, I need money. But it's being more selective now, taking what you learn from past mistakes and hoping you do better next time.
Is there, like, going back to the stuff that you've had graded? Has there been more than one time to where like you've had a situation where like you personally think, like, let's say you're looking at something, it's like, this is a 9.0 with a A+ seal, you send it off and it has been like 8.5 with like an A flat rating on it? Like, how do you go across it to where like you realize that you have your own opinion, you send it off, you get an objective third party opinion, and it can cost you hundreds, if not potentially thousands of dollars on an item?
Absolutely.
So what do you tell yourself? It's like, do you have those moments where it's like, this is a 90, but I don't think it's gonna, come back as it? Like, how do you prepare yourself for something like that?
Learning the scale, like experience with the actual scale, is the biggest thing you can do to prepare yourself. But as for if I've ever had a huge issue where I'm like, man, they fucked me, right? That's kind of how people take it in card grading, game grading. The company fucked me. This is so much better. As for a situation like that, I've never had any egregious example. Most of my grading is through VGA. So the worst I've ever done is say, I think it's an 85 plus and it will come back an 80 or 80 plus, which is a full grade down, or even 2 or 3 steps down the scale where okay, I missed something. I've also had opportunities or times that have happened where, okay, this is an 85, comes back a 90. Okay, cool, right? I guess I was being too harsh on it. So usually, and I wrote down all my stuff on my latest VGA submission. I sent off 22 games. I wrote down all my predictions. Once it comes back, I will go through it all and see how, accurate I can be with the grading scale. So that'll be interesting for yourself and others, I'm sure, just to see. But yeah, it's not usually that I'm like, what's happening? You always are going to hear stories about it, of course, because, so many people, it's a volume thing. People are human, blah, 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 whatever excuse you want to use. Grading is not a perfect science. It just is part of the game. Unfortunately, fortunately, however you look at it. But yeah, I personally haven't had huge issues with how at least VGA has graded my stuff in the past.
There was a moment that came up to where I think it was WADA that offered the cleaning service.
Mm-hmm.
And then the gentleman came back with a completely jacked up copy of Pokemon Red, and my heart shattered when I saw this. How much of how much of it like is of the original case, the seal, the whole 9 yards? How much does it affect for having a security sticker on it? Like, why Why remove that when it was initially a part of the like the history of the purchase or the initial owner of it, where they bought it from? Like, why would you go ahead and get a cleaning service and then have the potential to have that happen to you?
Yeah. And that is something that even does exist among sealed collectors too, where are stickers provenance? And yeah, some people agree that it is part of the history of the item and a part of the, like you said, the original, the story of the item. There's also the other side of the story where eye appeal is a big part of it. That even if it's not reflected in the grade itself, some people are going to argue eye appeal versus you, where maybe it doesn't sell for a noticeable margin more, but maybe it sells easier. Or in some instances, on the actual scale, you might fall down. Like, this is worst case scenario. You'll fall down from an A to an A or from a VGA 85 plus to an 85. So you're dealing with on VGA scale, you're dealing with a half rating down. On WADA scale, you're dealing with one seal rating down. So it's not a big deal. A lot of them won't even knock you down a scale, but it also is a lot of personal preference stuff where if the company's telling you they can do it safely and effectively, if you don't want it on there, you go for it. What happened is just extremely unfortunate, but that's kind of the two sides of the sticker debate there.
And then also going back to the topic of who's going to want to buy a graded game that you have in a case graded with a security sticker on it. Like you'd have to find that one person that would want that one particular security sticker on that one particular item in that grade, and you might as well just put it up on a nerd shelf somewhere and just keep it there for a while, because I don't think anyone would want to buy it after that.
Like, with what happened to it? Like, after what happened to Ryan's copy of the red, or
before and after. So
okay,
so it's just trying to find someone who wants it in that condition after it got graded, whether or not the after events of Ryan's grading situation. Like, you might as well just keep it up there and just
that is probably going to stay in his personal collection, I assume, as a story piece. Unfortunately,
look how I got fucked over.
That's what I mean, right? You'll never forget. Trying to look on the bright side of it.
You do weekly streams for various auction sites on Tuesdays, right?
Yes.
And you do it on your YouTube channel.
Yes.
What was the most outrageous, outgrievance, like, mind fuck that you ever had that is not revolving around Mario in any way, shape, or form?
So, did you hear about Poke Park Nintendo Wii 9.8 A++? Did you hear about that sale?
No.
Are you familiar with the game?
Yes.
Yeah, $23,000. What do you say? Right? That has zero bearing in reality. What do you say? So that one for me was the biggest. Yeah.
Poke Park for $23K.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, part of the allure of tuning into the heritage auctions is every now and then there's just such a dose of stupidity that falls that it makes a really good conversation. BioShock Infinite on a smaller scale is another one. So BioShock Infinite, right? $10 game, $20 game, even factory sealed, like tons of them out there. First print BioShock, factory sealed, 20, 30 bucks. I don't even remember the grade. I don't even think it was a perfect grade copy. Over $1,000 it sold for. What do you, and then eBay gets cleared out, right? Within minutes, eBay is cleared of copies because a new floor gets hit, right? Speculators all hit. Not a floor, sorry. A new stupidity gets hit where even if you now sell a copy for 80% less, that's still 200 bucks. And so the whole mania begins. It's ridiculous in a lot of ways.
So basically, like, whenever a game hits a particular ceiling at an auction, you either have to be quick or you have to find someone that is very, very dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm saying that in the nicest way possible because like let's like my copy of uh Mario Super Mario 64. It's loose. I love it
Yeah.
to death. It is mine and it's going to stay mine. I bought it for $28.
Good price.
Then that 1.8 million hit on the sealed copy.
Mm-hmm.
My price of my loose cartridge gets bumped up to like by I think it was 22%. The day that the auction closed, my loose copy gets bumped up 22%. And I'm like, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to wrap my brain around the correlation between like loose games and then you see these sealed copies of these games going for hundreds of thousands, if not in very few instances, millions of dollars, and it's got an effect on my loose collection.
Yeah, there's a completely irrational spillover effect there that should help itself in time. We shouldn't see that, especially with loose cartridges. It's illogical.
Yeah, I think like because of COVID, and I think there was a Pokemon Stadium XD graded that got sold. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Like at the peak of Pokemon XD since I bought it, it was up to like $175 loose.
When you say loose, do you mean disc only or CIV
Disc
in
only.
that instance? Okay, disc only.
Disc only.
Jesus.
I think the only thing in my collection that got affected for it being complete in box was uh, Tekken Hybrid Collector's Edition, which the box is up here, but the game is down here somewhere.
Okay.
But I mean, like, I don't quite necessarily, it really shouldn't have that kind of effect. But like, if you could see, like, let's go into the speculator mode here and wear our
Okay.
tinfoil hats for a second.
Yep.
If you can see any consoles library going up in price in the graded market, and I know it's solely depending on also the grade that it's given. What do you think would be popular enough to start getting into as far as getting stuff graded?
Like if you want to start entering into it and start making money type of thing.
If we're like if I'm starting completely from scratch, going into a market for sealed stuff to go get graded, potentially sell it at auction, where should I start as far as a consoles library?
I would personally, and I am to some degree looking, keeping my eyes open at all times, just how I operate in the market. I don't want to try to lie to anyone, but PS3 and Nintendo DS. And I'd say these two consoles specifically because WADA has graded very, very few of them since inception. So PS3 and DS are still on VGA optimization. They have not hit, in some circumstances, they have hit certain auction houses that do offer VGA games, but getting that huge, widespread investor speculator appeal, if we are to assume that it continues and prices happen or the history repeats itself, once PS3 and DS start hitting Heritage, start hitting Golden, start getting graded by WADA, I think the first to market copies of, Uncharted just sold for $1,000 on Heritage a little while ago. Uncharted 3 or Uncharted 1, sorry. We might see games like the God of War series on PS3, Uncharted, Little Big Planet, these big major franchises explode in price like we're seeing on 360 where we have Mass Effect, Gears of War, the most obvious culprits, I guess. It's funny because you don't even have to go niche into the library or dive deep or anything like that. You could just buy or it has been that you could just buy the absolute most common, most obvious things, send them in for grading, and boom, make some money. Obviously, that level of of ease and stupidity, if you want to call it that, will end at some point. It already is slowing down tremendously. But I think PS3 and DS are ripe for that type of explosion. And prices are already climbing on a lot of these as people speculate in that same mindset.
Would you lump the 360 in there as well?
360 is already graded by WADA, so I wouldn't.
Good to know.
Yeah. So 360, why I mentioned Gears of War, we've already seen Gears of War sell for $14,000. And I'm not sitting here defending those prices. I don't fucking get that either. Like, even for me, that is just like, so if you want to try and replicate that, or if you think there's any hope of stupidity and those kind of prices continuing, PS3 is the next one that's ripe for that type of price action.
But we are not certified investors by any stretch of the imagination. If that happens to fail, even though I'm going to try it on at least one game, if not two, if it fails, it is not our fault.
Exactly.
We are
if
here
anyone puts any money in, you are on your own. I can tell you what I think all day. Once you start spending your money, you're on your own.
We are here for entertainment purposes only.
Good catch.
Like, explain through the process of like we understand, like we explained like what should get graded, what has been graded, what the process of like WADA and VGA, like we've explained them in detail, but like from purchase of the game to getting it graded to getting it back, like what are the steps that after you send it off, is there any type of communication with VGA or WADA to where it's like, okay, we have it, okay, we're getting it graded, okay, like is it just like ship it off and the only time that you get any confirmation is when you get it back?
VGA does leave you in the dark, unfortunately. So you'll send your stuff off. You will receive an invoice. Right now, I think invoicing is taking like 3 to 4 weeks. So you'll get like a delivery confirmation. Then, 4 weeks later, you'll get a invoice, pay us. And then whatever speed you paid for, whether it's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you'll get something telling you that it's all done. So my orders with VGA right now, I last heard from them in February. Otherwise, they're just sitting in their warehouse, wherever, you hope they're safe. You hope everything's going fine, and you'll receive an update eventually. WADA does have more modernized system where it's kind of like card grading, where their system will show you like, okay, scanned, okay, received, okay, we're in picture taking, okay, now we're in grading stage, okay, we're post grading. So at least you know where your item is in the process. But then you still have huge delays like post grading. You might be sitting there for 4 weeks, or in the pre grading, you might sit there for 3 weeks. And you don't know how long it will be, right? They have their estimates. The estimates are all behind, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of leap of faith when you send your expensive stuff off and, you put insurance on it.
Now, when I only know that WADA does this. I don't know if Golden has any ties with any grading companies as far as...
They're owned by the same company. So Collector's Universe owns WADA, owns Golden, owns PSA. That's the umbrella.
My brain hurts. So,
yeah. The web is big, man.
So at what point, like, do you have to ask yourself, like, because if memory serves me correctly, when you get something graded and they ask you for payment, you do have the option to put it on consignment to sell to basically sell through an auction for the company to recoup their money. Plus, you obviously get some kickback to you.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you have to tell yourself that, like, I can get more money by selling it than right this minute than I could 6 months, 12 months, 2 to 3 years down the line? Like there's no way to speculate that far ahead on a particular item that you have the option to just sell at right then. but like, have you had any of those Nostradamus moments to where like you actually consigned with Golden or Heritage? Thank you.
So I did consign with Heritage back in 2019. And everything you just said right there was unbeknownst to me during my first consignment. So I submitted in a Left Bros Mario Bros. 3 and a gloss sticker Super Mario Bros. Both just complete in box. So, and I truly, truly believe that had I just taken them to eBay myself, I would have gotten more for them versus waiting for the consignment. But so I submitted them for consignment sometime, say April. And my first game ended up in an auction in September, I believe. And then I saw payout from that in November ish, October, November, sometime in there. And then my other game ended up in a November auction, and I saw payout sometime in December. So from April to December was my consignment period to me putting the games up and then getting paid. So it's like you said, where if you want to go that consignment route, you also do have to now speculate market conditions in potentially half a year, which anything can change in half a year. The Carl Jobs video can come out. Like, let's say that actually did collapse the whole market. You'd feel like a fucking idiot if you were just waiting for consignment when you could have just sold it yourself on eBay 4 months earlier. But there are instances, of course, where Heritage or Golden or an auction house will get you more money than you could net yourself. And it also has to do with your own ability, your own comfortability with selling games on eBay or any other site. How much reach do you personally have? Do you have an established eBay account? Can you sell a graded video game? Are you comfortable with a $10,000 transaction? So there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes into that. So, I mean, that's what I mean, though, right? So you send your stuff off for consignment to these companies. They handle all of that shit. You literally just sit back, pay your fees, and you'll get a check in 5 months. But yeah, there's a lot to consider with it. Absolutely.
Now I'm debating on whether or not to truly jump into it. Here's my thought process, and I want to see if you can follow me on this.
For sure.
Find a game that has been like has a variant of greatest hits on the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
Try to buy the original run, or as close as you can to the original run as possible. Have it sealed, send it off to be graded. Cross my freaking fingers that it's at least a 9.0.
Yes, that is basically your minimum, especially on like modern games.
And hopefully they'll get to the point where they'll, get around to it. And I hope and pray that it holds almost a year later.
Yes. Because especially and the fees on top of that. So if you want your game back from WATA in a let's say a month, basically is what it's taking now. It's a $200 fee for Warp Zone service, $200 to get your game back in a month. If you want to go down to an $85 tier, you're going to be waiting somewhere between 4 and 6 months. So even just the grading on top of you purchasing the sealed game, you have to hope for the high grade and over justify a $200 or $85 grading fee. The economics are tough of it all to do it.
And it's WATA or VGA or nothing as far as grading services in North America, right?
Yeah. CGC hopefully in 6 months to a year. Sorry, it's VGA and WATA leading the market. There's also P1 grading, which is pretty new, trying to build an establishment here. There's also there's one other company. There's a few other companies that will grade your shit, but if we're looking for market confidence and like the added liquidity, all that shit, VGA WATA. And I just want to, be fair.
Fuck.
I hope I'm not discouraging you too much. There is opportunity out there. It's just like there's a lot of learning curve.
Yeah, and especially when you go to someone who is basically a source of all this information. Okay, case in point. My friends, bless their hearts, Scrubverse podcast, like they took the Carl Jobs interview or the video and basically got into the situation to where it's like games are meant to be played. Grading is pointless. Blah 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 blah. Me, on the other hand, I'm open up to both ways, and I'm sitting here and I'm listening to like both sides of the story, but yet like there's nothing I can say or do to well, there's nothing I can say to get these people to change their minds. So I'm gonna try to eventually fucking do it and prove that a $50 investment can quite possibly turn into at least double.
Yeah, yeah. And and that is a lot of the whole games are meant to be played has been being said since I've been doing it in 2010. That rhetoric has always existed, right? People have always been against the graded sealed market because of the inherent use case of games. They're meant to be played. Okay, cool, great. Then it kind of becomes this scapegoating, though, of WADA ruined the market. I can't afford anything because of them. I can't afford anything because of sealed collectors or anything else that you really want to point fingers at and blame for why what you can control is bad, instead of perhaps doing as much as you can to learn yourself, to control your own actions, to control your own narrative as to what you can do to better your situation. And maybe some people don't want to resell. Maybe some people don't want to support the grading. Maybe blah, 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 right? But there's a whole lot of market watching you can do. You can become more savvy about variants. You can pivot to other consoles. There's so much just sitting and complaining about it all where it's become hard for me to even really listen, to be kind of blunt about it. It's just, yes, this exists. Yes, this is a thing. Okay, now what?
Yeah, TJ Katsune in chat was asking. You could just look at it as a high risk, high reward situation, which is 100% the honest truth.
It is. There's a lot of people, we love to talk about the headlines and the people who all make money. Every week on Heritage, we see people who graded something, consigned something, and fucking lose their money on it. When an Atari game sells for $79, that person didn't make money. When a game on PS2 sells for like $120, maybe they did, but odds are you're either breaking even or losing money on it. Especially time. If you don't even want to talk about time or money, I mean, you're losing a lot of time wasted on doing something like that and tying up your capital on trying it. So how much does opportunity cost matter to you? There's so much. Markets are fun. I enjoy all this shit.
I threw it as a question yesterday while I was at work, but what would happen to the market if they decided to have because all that it boils down to is the preservation of gaming in general. So what I'm thinking about is quite possibly either VGA or WADA decides to do some grading. And I know TJ is going to hate me for this, but maybe graded arcade boards. Maybe.
I don't want to say too much because it really is a world I know nothing about. So I don't want to pretend here and sit like, oh yeah, arcade boards. I love those things and those could definitely be graded. I don't know. But it's not unreasonable to think that a company, maybe VGA, maybe WADA, maybe a full other company, will see everything that has been caused by COVID and the whole collecting sphere and think that there is opportunity to grade arcade boards at some point. I don't know how well they display themselves. Again, I don't know much about it. If it's just, is it just like kind of a PCB board, arcade boards? So I don't know if there would be a ton of demand for displaying them and stuff, but now that the world is open to collectibles as an alternative asset and this whole mindset has been created, we might see anything.
Actually, I just asked that question, even though it's a legit question. I just asked that to tilt TJ. He's the residential arcade nerd out of me and my group of friends. So
yeah,
I don't want people. He says I don't want to see people wanting printed circuit boards hanging on their walls.
That's what I mean. It might be kind of weird. I don't know though. I don't know. It'll be if. In a lot of ways, demand has to be, people need to be told what's cool to buy in a lot of ways. So if there is a campaign or marketing or push, or let's say Gary Vee starts talking about arcade boards, that shit will explode. It's that easy when we have a catalyst that can push people in the direction to tell them what is cool or to tell them what to collect. It's just human nature. A lot of people, need that first push, and then we'll just go for it.
Yeah, I've figured out something. So, I used to work at a game shop straight out of high school.
Okay.
That had complete in-box Neo Geo games.
Wow.
I'll keep you up to date on that one. I don't. All that I know is that the store moved 2 buildings down the street and then never heard from them again. So I got to figure out where the fuck they are to begin with.
And then go and nab yourself some Neo Geo. That's another console where the barrier to entry was always so damn high that I just never got into it.
I had a horseshoe up my ass one day. And I made a video about this and posted it to YouTube, and people come at me on Twitter. It's like, this is real? But I found a Neo Geo 1-slot MVS that was a repurposed Midway arcade cabinet at the dumpster of my apartment complex.
What the hell?
A friend of mine brought over a 256-1. We played for 3 hours. He goes, "What do you want for it?"
So it even worked. It was fully functional.
All that we had to do was turn two knobs on the back of the CRT to line it up. And realized that the power switch was underneath player 1, underneath the arcade sticks. So it's like, as soon as we got that taken care of, I got way more than I put into it, which was fucking elbow grease and maybe about 30% of my back.
Yes,
because
to lug that damn thing.
90% of the weight is all in that CRT. But
how
most
many years ago was that? Sorry.
How many years ago?
How many years ago? Yeah, how many years ago was that? Even better. Right during the whole fucking boom. And it's insane. Stuff's still out there. It'll always still be out there.
It's like we were sitting there having a conversation. It's like, so you found this at the dumpster? I'm like, yeah. My buddy looks at me and he goes, I bet you someone's wife wanted him to get rid of it. I'm like, maybe. What if he comes back for it? $200? Shook hands, walked away.
Yeah, and done deal, right? Like you said, you put nothing into it. Like, done deal, get it away from you.
It was $200 finder's fee.
Yeah. And that's another thing, right? When we talk about this whole reselling stuff, if you can just take the quick and easy money, just get it and go. Like, you don't need to worry about maximizing every single transaction, and your time is valuable and your effort is valuable. And if you can just get the money and go, move on. And stuff like that, sizable stuff, just move it.
I was sitting here, I was like, I could try to get this up in my room, but no one in my family has a good enough back to pull it off. Yeah, it's best as hell. And it's like you have that the arcade market is like way into its own thing, and I'm just sitting there like, the games that I want are cheap, loose. Mm-hmm. However, in order to get everything like complete in box, which all the decals, which like the panels around the monitor, you're looking at easy $400 to $500 because no arcade kept those kits. Well, yeah. They put it in the machine, but when arcades started to die, no one kept them, which goes back into the whole thing about getting NES, SNES, N64, late era Genesis games. It's like no one kept the cardboard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes everything so fucking expensive.
That's the paradox of it, right? If we all kept it, it wouldn't be expensive. That's how it works.
I'm just still shocked that like a Sonic 1 went for over 1,000.
Well, Sonic 1 sold for 430,000 just a little while ago.
I need to keep track of this shit so I don't get shocked.
This is fun. It's fun talking to someone who doesn't like live. You know what I mean? I live in such a bubble sometimes where we're all just like, oh yeah, okay, Sonic 400K, okay. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. That was on Golden Auctions, not on Heritage. And then the spillover effect onto Heritage Auctions the next week was a complete in box selling for 2,300 in 9.0 condition.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. It's like people see these have like these auctions for like the Sonic 1 for 400K, for example. They see these prices and they're like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna go, send mine in, get graded," but sometimes it's like you said that the wait is so long, you can't speculate that 400,000 ceiling at all.
Mm-hmm.
To where like whoever's next in line after that with the same conditions, same rating, same steel, like you said the 400,000 was just complete in box?
No, the 400,000 was sealed.
Okay, so it's like the 9.x sealed comes through, and then all of a sudden they get a fraction of that.
Yeah. Well, they trickle it down to complete in box, right? That's how a lot of the speculation, and it's just how a lot of the speculation goes. The sealed one is now so far, you will not afford it. So, okay, I'll buy a nice graded complete in box one. Is it a justifiable strategy? I don't know. Maybe it's a lot of collector demand because now they know the sealed one. I'll never own a sealed Sonic 1. I know that. So, okay, a nice complete in box one would be pretty cool. Am I going to go out, though, and spend $2,000 on one right after a record sale? Fuck no. I'm going to wait and see what happens because we're talking about two different levels of rarity of everything. Like the sealed one and the complete in box one are just two. Prices also show that, but still, $2,000 for the complete one just seems a little bit crazy.
I wonder what the odds of someone sending in like a resealed ROM hack of a X amount of game would be for like a Pokemon game. And I'm just curious, like if you send it in, is there potential for it just to be flat out turned down and sent back?
Absolutely. A lot of people get rejected. You don't hear a lot about the rejection stories, of course, but yeah, a lot of stuff does get rejected, and it's most prevalent with Y folds. So your PS2, GameCube, Wii, those consoles, especially the ones that don't have any kind of security strips on them. So GameCube, Wii, late release PS2. Those are the most heavily faked games where people will send them in for grading thinking they're authentic and get them back saying like, nope, we suspect resale. That's what I've been seeing anyway. Those are the most likely suspects.
What is it's like? So whether or not that the person that sent it in was aware or not, okay.
Yeah, you'll get rejected if they think there's any anything wrong with it where they can't be certain that this is authentic.
So PS3 incomplete in box Neo Geo.
That's where you're gonna strike.
That's where I'm gonna go in. But Greg, thank you for stopping by for the past hour and just sitting here shooting the shit with me.
I can't believe it's been an hour already, man. Crazy.
Yeah, it's like
I could talk about this shit all night.
Yeah, we can continuously tilt TJ about how like I think that there should be a graded PCB market somewhere, and just really piss him off. If you got anything to plug, go ahead and Unicorn from Magi actually joined. And we're about to wrap up. Sorry.
You can Good to see you in here, Unicorn.
But we're just gonna wrap up. You can check out the VODs here. And Greg, if you got anything to plug.
Absolutely. If you do want to know more about the sealed and graded market, if you just want information on anything related to that, market conditions, that's what I cover mostly on my YouTube channel at GetTheGregGames. Hopefully you come in and ask questions. I'm open to any skill level. I don't care. You have to ask questions in order to learn. Yeah. If you want to know anything more, if you want to come share opinions, come over to the YouTube channel.
Like, I came in with the mindset of, I know jack shit. I want to be educated. Help me. Which led to this podcast.
Yep. And I'm glad, whether or not you agree with it all, I think it's worth. So many people simply disregard everything, especially with the Carl video now, right? It's people can now turn off their minds and just be like, this is bullshit, this is fake, this is heritage scam, blah, 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 without knowing anything about the scales, the graded games, the rarity, anything to actually do with the collecting scene of sealed games, why they had value prior to WATA games, why they had value back in 2013. Different amounts, obviously, but there is a whole world of sealed collecting that does exist outside of heritage auctions, WATA, and all the things we see. Obviously, we always have to pay attention to them because they affect our lives in such a great way, but there's just a nice little community just hanging out that, has the same kind of passion as people who collect non-sealed games.
Yep. And like the first thing that like the picture of my complete box collection, all of a sudden Greg goes, "Ooh, I spy Final Fantasy VIII," and I'm like, "It's not even my favorite. And it's my only completed box."
Yeah, it's in right at the top. I recognize, I know good taste when I see it. That'll always be probably my favorite game of all time, honestly, which I know that's controversial, but I just got hit with it at the perfect time. The perfect time.
One of these days. All right, for those who are watching live, I'd like to say thank you. Unicorn for Maggie.
Fromaggi. Cheese.
Fromaggi.
Fromaggi. There you go.
TJ Kasune, Unicorn, thank you for the follow on Twitch as well. For those who are interested in watching my back catalog of podcasts, you can go to youtube.com/H2O Happy Dude. Make sure you drop a follow. Wow. I've been in such a Twitch mindset. Subscribe to the channel for more. It has been almost a year to the month that I did my last one. So I'm just going to get back on the ball because I have been informed. I've been asked the question, what the fuck are you waiting for? So I'm back on content creation in some way, shape, or form full time. You can catch the audio podcast of this. It'll be up on October 5th. You can search for Happy Dude and Friends on Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere that you catch your pods on. The video of this will be uploaded later tonight. So by the time you are hearing this, the video would already be up. So go to my YouTube channel and check that out. And I will. Now you have 10 subs on YouTube. Thanks, Unicorn. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. All right, so I'm going to stop the video feed, the VOD there.
Yeah.
But we're still live if you would just sit here and bullshit and hang out for a bit, or if you got to go.
No, I can hang out. If there's anything else, yeah. Is there any questions in chat? I mean, I'm happy to answer anything that might be hanging out.
Actually, I should have shot you the link to the channel, just in case if you wanted to follow along, chat. To be honest, I've had a very few, like this is only the 5th video podcast that I've ever done, and it took a video of me talking to a YouTuber about NES Tetris for 63 minutes. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm not expecting anyone to watch or care about this. And I'm like, oh shit, people are starting to watch, people are starting to care. Holy fuck. and that was my last one for a while. So it feels good to actually be back on the content. So I shot you the link in Discord if you want to follow along with chat.
Awesome.
Simon asked, what are your thoughts about yesterday's heritage auction? We actually talked about that. We touched on that in the podcast. So maybe go subscribe to the podcast on your podcast app of choice.
Where did you oh, there we go. Here.
Yeah, it's in your DMs.
Yep.
Simon, how about SMG2? Does that count?
Oh, there we go. Nice overlay, man. Looks good.
It took me 6.5 hours.
Love it. I need to get myself something like this.
Oh, if you we've touched on your videos, and I have some opinions about your unboxing videos.
In the way that they're done.
Yes. We all know that everyone is there for the games and solely for the games. And for you to have your head turned with your body straight at two different camera angles, it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to be paying attention to? It's my
Yeah.
I haven't even been diagnosed with ADHD yet, but I felt like I had it.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear. Like, I need feedback like that. It's good to hear. Absolutely. And because I'm just learning it all too, right? I've been on YouTube now since January. So I'm just learning all this shit too. I still don't know what optimized ways I want to do certain things. So I'm still playing with stuff as well.
I think my create date on my YouTube channel was 2009.
That's going to be collectible soon, man. You need to hold on to this account.
I am. Unfortunately, I cannot. Like, I started off with Happy Dude, and then when I joined the H2O PMS gaming clan, I slapped H2O on top of it. Everyone started taking fucking Happy Dude everywhere. Like, I can't take. Like, I tried to rebrand back to regular Happy Dude on Twitter, but some dude snagged it and called it Happy Dude Gaming, and I'm like, bro, like, seriously, come on. Like, can I have my shit back, please? Be great.
Yeah, I need to do that as well. Go and secure everything just so I have them, because I don't have all of the socials yet under my name yet either.
Yeah, I think I started podcasting in 2006.
Okay.
And I saw like how many like people making a living off of YouTube, and me not wanting to do the daily grind of the 9-to-5ers and like straight out of high school. It's like get paid quick. That's what I was looking for straight out of high school. And all of a sudden it's like, you need 100 subscribers with no video retention to be signed on an MCN. I got signed to an MCN 2012 with full screen, and then full screen bought fucking Screw Attack and Rooster Teeth, and I'm just sitting there like, all right, what about us?
So you guys did get left behind there, hey? Yeah.
Yeah, and then my contract preemptively got terminated because of the whole 1,000 subscribers to get monetized and 1,000 hours retention time, and I'm like, oh fuck me.
Yeah.
And the most viewed video is me buzzing my head.
That's content.
I'm like, and it was so far back. ASMR was like, it was ASMR before ASMR was a thing. And I'm like, that explains everything.
Yeah, you were talking there, the Tetris guy. What's his channel again?
A Game Scout.
Yes, Game Scout. Love his content. When I saw you had him interviewed, I was like, fuck, that's cool. I watched that one too. Like, I love hearing about old Tetris. I played it a lot, not NES Tetris specifically, but I used to grind Tetris on 360. Love it. So when I saw you did that, I was like, fucking cool. I can see why that one has so many views.
Yeah, I started playing competitive Tetris. Like, I heard about it summer of 2014, and it was a sort of a trigger moment because at that point in time, my mother passed away, and me and her had this thing to where we'd be very competitive in Game Boy Tetris, because we would sit there on the couch, like staring daggers at each other, playing on separate Game Boys, not playing versus mode, just playing single player Tetris. And I found Evelyn Ng, retired poker player, on Twitch. She was doing qualifier runs for the monthlies, and I'm like, okay, this is no longer for me. This is for her. And I started playing competitively for on and off for like 3.5, 4 years. And I'm just sitting there like,
did you ever go to an actual competition with it?
No. At the time, I was trying to seek employment.
Okay.
So being able to travel outside of city limits is very hard.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have a local scene?
I was it.
That's kind of what I expected. Yeah. I don't think it. I mean, if I first caught wind of like competitive Tetris with the Tetris Masters documentary, what year did that one come out? Or was there something prior to that?
Oh, are you talking about when they went to the World Championships? That the documentary of that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
It followed all the players and stuff.
that was from 2014 to 2016, I think.
Yeah, that was what really like I was like, holy shit, this is cool. This is very, very cool.
And then you have fucking kids half my age becoming world champs.
Yeah, I saw that too. Which is just insane. Yeah, I love competitive gaming too. Like if I do casual gaming these days, most of it is either first person shooter, maybe sports games, fighting games. I really enjoy getting it. It's also extremely stressful, but I really enjoy competitive gaming.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, Evan, he will like if given 30 seconds, he'll type up 7,000 words about competitive Counter-Strike. I'm like,
yeah, I used to watch that too for a while.
like I think the most like the only competitive gaming that I watch or go out of my way to watch is like every once in a while I'll catch Magic the Gathering tournaments. Red Bull is currently announced that they're doing their seasonal stuff after Magic Worlds at the end of November, I think.
Okay.
So I might be playing in those depending on the time zone situation.
That's insane, man.
I don't feel like starting 12 rounds of Magic at 5 in the morning.
No, that's insane. If you can even just attending an event like that and having the opportunity to play, regardless of how you do, right? Fucking crazy. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, I think the last time that I was actually nervous about playing a fucking video game was that I played one match of Magic on TBS's E League for $500. It was a $500 money match for a Magic, and then all of a sudden it's like because we had to record and they did live commentary over it on the air date. I'm just sitting there looking at myself going, "Oh, I fucked up. I fucked up. Why did I do that?" I sat there for the hour that they played this match out, and I'm like, first off, why did I pick that deck? This matchup does not favor me. And I'm like,
did you win the money match?
Oh, I got hosed. I lost 2-0. Spoiler alert. The match is still available on the E League YouTube channel. I would not watch that at all.
Yeah, I don't know if I would watch I know you have to in order to actually improve, watch your, games back. But I'm the exact same way as you. I'm over critical, over analytical in what I do, what I say. Even our interview we just did, I don't know if I'll watch it. Dead serious with you, because I just don't like to watch myself and critique myself unfairly in most instances, right? I'm going to be overly harsh, and I can just avoid that whole headspace if I just ignore it.
Who edits your videos then?
Me.
So you have to hear yourself speak.
Yes, but if I'm doing content with you, I don't have to.
Okay, good point.
Yeah. So I can just ignore all that and just let it go off into the YouTube sphere, and hopefully I said good things, and but if I'm doing my own, I have to run it back.
Oh,
the Carl interview was really like, fuck. I'm watching all of my not even what I say, just what I do while he talks. And I'm like, fucking stop doing that. Little things like you just become overly critical.
Well, here's my thing. It's like my eye line to my camera is here. But I catch myself glancing off to the side like this to make sure that, everything looks right, everything's okay. I'm just sitting there like, but you're a fucking pro and just stare dead into the camera while you're speaking. And I'm like, I wish I could do that.
When I'm listening, I am like right now I'm looking at you, which I mean is still kind of shitty, but like, I like looking at your face while you talk. I'm sure you get that a lot.
It's that personal connection. And I just find it hilarious though, because it's like I have a 3-monitor setup and I have OBS with the feed in it on my biggest monitor, and then I kicked over the Google Meet Hangout to a monitor out of sight, out of mind. Even when it got to the point where I just like I sat there and did that in the middle of the interview. It's like I have two of everybody in here.
Yeah, I know, and it's like the pressure for professionalism and doing it all perfect and stuff causes a lot of paralysis even in my own content creation. I'm sure most people deal with it. It just is what it is.
Yeah, it's like I started shooting overlay, like just the PNG file of the overlay, and I'm like, how bad does this, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how loud is this?
Yeah.
It is like 11 plus a smidgen of Saved by the Bell, and I'm like, God
damn it. And the first time I saw it, I loved it. I thought it looked pretty cool.
I have a weird way of doing overlays because it's like I have it set up to where like I have like for my video game streams, I set up the stream to look the way that I want it to look. Full screen the capture feed. Go to Photoshop. Copy the full screen video. Yeah. Paste it in Photoshop, and like the pink lines and everything, that's all done on Photoshop. I do it around the actual image. But funny thing is that I couldn't find a way to evenly set up the video feeds. So I just screenshotted someone else's video podcast for the overlay.
You built it the exact same way I would. So, that's just the fun of not knowing how to professionally do shit.
That's the reason why it's like professional streamer. Where?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, we're all just fumbling around. And it just is fun.
Unicorn says we both have a whole lot of headspace. We have reasons to have a whole lot of headspace.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got retired Magic playmats, a Buster. I used to have my Pokemon stuff sitting up there, statue of Ryu, Ultra Ball. Empty liquor bottles.
Yeah, I love to have a little bit of, I don't know, I think if I were to be shooting a video, I'd probably sit here. So since I'm a little more relaxed with you here, I'm getting a little bit comfortable with you. A little bit more relaxed here.
Simon, are you talking about the awkwardly placed CRT television that's sitting right next to me that's going to be replaced in a couple of days? Yeah, so funny story. My dad bought this for a gift after I graduated middle school. So I was 14 years old back in the summer of 99. This was purchased. Summer of 2000, my dad bought me a N64. And then I took the stickers that were in the case, the box with it, and just slapped them all over the fucking monitor. Hook a Dreamcast up to it and play Marvel vs. Capcom. Well, here's the thing. The only reason why it's not currently being used right now is because it would require me to actually connect it to either a cable connection or a digital antenna. Because that's the only way that it could recognize stations. Don't ask. It will essentially allow me to play the things that I want. I do have a component to HDMI converter, so that's going to be part of the new setup. So everyone's telling me like don't replace it, don't get rid of it. I'm like it's almost as old as I no, it's half as old as I am.
Yeah, and Simoon just said that it's becoming a collectible itself. It literally is. I don't know how much value that thing might pull, but people start to value. You reach that influx point where it becomes away from trash and all of a sudden it's cool again. And that's like kind of where these old monitors are going now.
Oh, it's like you also mentioned like Pokemon itself is tanking in one of your latest videos.
Mm-hmm.
I found this.
Yeah, I
It,
saw you posted that in the Discord there. That's a pretty cool item.
yeah. If it exists of like anything Pokemon related, like even like I joked around one year. It's like the 10th anniversary of Pokemon. They actually had the Volkswagen Beetle that looked like fucking Pikachu.
Okay.
That had the ears and the tail.
Yeah.
It showed up to our AAA baseball stadium, and I sat there and I'm like, I can't drive legally, but I really want those decals to put up in my room. If I would have swiped them, there would have been a market because someone out there would want that.
Yes. Yes, that is the joy of Pokemon stuff. You know, it's just, yeah, Pokemon's its own breed when it comes to collectability. It
Yeah,
just really is.
I think you actually have like, as far as franchises go, you have Pokemon, Mario, everything else.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Even like, it's funny. I talk about The Legend of Zelda, and it's not as household of a name as we think it is. Like, you can't display a Zelda box in your house, like NES Zelda box in your house, and have, I think 1/10 of the people would recognize it versus a Mario Bros. Box. Is that a crazy thought?
No, I mean like, and you also have to think about it. It's that like the if there was a younger generation like the Gen Z or whatever the hell's after millennials, so you're looking at an earlier generation after me. But what if later generations decide to go, oh, this was very valuable back in 2021, and here it is 2041. It should be the same price today, right? And then it turns out that they're completely fucking right. So it's like I'm kind of wanting that to happen for the younger generation of gamers to just look at what's going on right now and going, oh, these are probably worth collecting. Like, not even grading at this point. Like just getting something loose or complete in box. It's like hell, 90% of my shit's not even in its own box.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like just learning about all this information and just starting a collection for the sake of collection, for the sake of collecting. Fuck, you said that you were trying to get a full base set of Pokemon graded.
Yep, I'm working towards that as well.
How far along are you?
60-ish cards. So, I mean, 70% done. But I still need Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, and 4 other holo cards. So, I mean, the actual value of the collection, maybe I'm 10% done. Depends how you want to look at it.
I think the last time that I actually, no, wait, I think it was maybe about a year or two ago. I played in a Pokemon pre-release, and like we actually had something for a giveaway where it was a first edition base set pack for a giveaway for an MDA fundraiser.
Okay.
That our local card shop was doing. That fucker raised 3,700 and change.
Wow.
I'm like, $4 MSRP. Like, I was lucky enough to get into it as a kid, like base set, Fossil Jungle base set 2, and I'm just sitting there like, why didn't I keep that shit?
Did you keep any of your original Pokemon stuff or no? No. Oh man, where did it go? Just threw it out over years, or
I remember that me and my brother were learning how to play off of the base set. Yeah, it was the base set 2-player starter pack.
Me and my brother had that,
and we were sitting there playing, and we were playing at our mom's, and then all of a sudden, she just personal family stuff happened, and she left town with all of our shit.
Okay.
So anything that we left there, including like all of my Pokemon stuff, we actually had a at like 11 years old, we had complete in box see through like the color variants of the original Game Boys. We
Nice.
had
Very
red,
nice.
blue, and I had the see through one.
Mm-hmm.
That was gone. Um, and for some reason, I cherished the Commodore 64 that we had in that building at 11 years old. And then poof, that was gone.
Fuck. Yeah, that just, it's heartbreaking. It sucks that it wasn't even a conscious decision or anything. It just kind of left.
Yeah.
So that sucks. I
TJ,
was fortunate enough to keep a lot of mine, but I mean, to fully contrast against your story, but
like I had a if I knew then what I knew now kind of moment. A friend of mine was running a game room at a local con, and I was just walking around, and he was like, "Hey, are you volunteering this year? No. Would you mind doing me a favor?" I'm the kind of guy to where if a friend asks for you to do a favor, if you can do it, you don't say no. He goes, "I want you to wash this desk. I'm gonna go have lunch." And it was just it was the game room where it's like if someone needs a game, you go change it out. Like if someone wants to buy something off the merch side of it, go ahead and sell them. Make sure you don't sell
okay.
anything that's not supposed to. 3 hours later, he returns and he goes, "Hey, I have something for you," and it's a blister pack of first edition Fossil.
Very nice. Very nice. Did you crack it?
It was the contents of the pack were less than 1% of the price of the actual fucking pack.
I knew where we had to be going here. I love it. It's cool you got the open one though.
Yeah, because it's not every day to where it's like you can go back in time 20-ish years and just open up a fresh pack of Fossil. Or I was like, at the time that I opened them, they were like going for like $12-13. Now first edition Fossil packs are going for about 40-45, and I'm just just talking about it makes me have PTSD.
No, for sure. But like, I will never open vintage Pokemon. The economics of it are terrible unless you have a YouTube channel to monetize it. So I mean, cool you got to do that regardless, and it makes for a hell of a story.
I think like even now for people that are getting price gouged uh with the current Pokemon product, like the battle boxes.
Yeah, yeah.
I think because of like where I stand and things, like I've been working at this big box store for a little less than a month now, and I have seen people steal more Pokemon and Magic product than I have purchased in the last 3 years of my life.
That's insane. I'm not surprised, but it sucks. The whole I followed a lot, of what all happened in 2020, 2021 with the egregious amounts of scalping and reselling with Pokemon. I'd never seen that wave of demand hit something, I guess, is the way to put it. Yeah, we have scalping in video games and stuff. People will buy PS5s, but the level and the quantities that Pokemon was able to achieve with that was just fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm going on BRB, just not BRB, but the starting soon screen because I want to bring up the spreadsheet that I shot you last night.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And provided that it'll actually let me. Here we go. So let me see what I can do here. Because like we didn't touch about this at all, but the prices of some parts of my collection that I didn't purchase until like COVID hit, and then I started a collection, which is very ass backwards. Like looking back at it,
I did the same thing with cards, man. It just is what it was. There's a reason everything went up.
like the average prices of the games where like you use that for an example for your for your SNES, not SNES, your N64 video that you did about with the expansion pack. Like the overall change between like 90% of the average price of NES, SNES, and 64, get like all the way going up to the PlayStation 3. Like looking at where they were month to month, December to January, December 2019 to January 2020, like it was just a completely normal day. And then the moment the COVID check started being sent out, that's when the spike through the roof happened, because like we said, expendable income, everyone's got it.
People are bored and being given free money in a lot of ways.
like the computer rig that I'm on.
Yep.
Bought that with the very first COVID check.
Right? It's normal shit. You're gonna just buy stuff.
And it's like, instead of like logically thinking, when you're starting from scratch to build a collection, normally you go after the cheap shit first. Right? So, and then over time you would save up and get what you. Why the fuck did Tron Bond go up 110%? Like Tron Bond, I checked earlier. The price of Tron Bond in August is $202.
Yep. Yeah. It wasn't just, the whole thing saw it. Tron Bond has always been a collector's type game, right? It's really cool. Those games weren't immune to the COVID shit, because the money also went to people who were established. So that was their saving up. That was their treat,
I think the most shocking thing out of my personal collection, Sonic Shuffle has been up 133%. Thanks, COVID.
You're gonna retire on Sonic Shuffles, man.
No, I'm not. TJ's like, how dare you mention Sonic? Like, Pokemon didn't go up that much in price. Out of Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red is the most expensive between the two on average. I'm not proud to admit that I paid $65 for my copy of Pokemon Red. I'm not proud that like for this Gen 1 Dex completion thing I was doing, it cost me let's see, the N64 plus the game plus the transfer packs. Pokemon Stadium, Red and Blue, all that cost me like over $200.
Yeah. That's where my mind went. It was like at 200 plus.
They wanted to charge me $80 for the expansion pack separately for my N64. I'm like,
that's ludicrous. I didn't realize the expansion pack had asking prices even that high. Damn.
And because there's no third-party market for it, of course, people are going to charge whatever the fuck they want to for it.
As long as people are paying, prices will go up. That's how it goes. Is it shitty? Yeah, it's shitty. But tell everyone else to stop buying it. Because there's someone out there who wants it at that price, and that fucks it up for the guy who doesn't want to pay that price.
What's really hilarious is that I'd have to work for free in order to purchase a transfer pack. I would have to work a day for free in order to save the money to get a transfer pack.
Yeah, and that's right. That's how I do a lot of my thinking as well. It's just at the end of the day, is it really worth it for me to put in 4 to 8 hours of work or whatever it is, right, to purchase a transfer pack or an expansion pack, whatever.
The one thing that I wish we would have touched on is like the like console averages as a whole. And like my friend Scotty became a complete luck sack, and I'm still pissed off at him about this. He had it. He had his childhood GameCube. Went over to his mom's place to help clean out the attic. Found the box and everything that was in it.
Nice.
When he bought it at launch, $99.99, and I'm just sitting there like, God, I want to look up the price, but I'm kind of afraid to. And it's like, I got lucky and bought my Dreamcast at a convention on a Sunday. I was able to talk the guy down from $60 to $45 for it.
That's not bad at all.
Because no one wants to take shit home on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And
sure.
then realizing that my investment is like over 130% right now.
On the Dreamcast console.
Just a loose console.
And that makes me want to go sell mine. Just telling me that, like, I want to go sell my Dreamcast because, you know, I don't play on it. I don't need to keep it kicking anymore. If people are going to, if I can get 100% more this year than I could last year, sounds like a decent exit to me.
It's at $130 right now. So
yeah.
like you might as well just.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'm not even fucking with you. I'm probably going to go home to my parents' house this week, grab my Dreamcast console, and put it up for sale. I just don't need it anymore at that price. There's just certain price points where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't need this.
It's like, I want to continue to play every single, like, all of my games on all my consoles, but it's like, there's only enough room for like maybe one or two more. And then I would have to get a third bookshelf.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there like, and the more and more I fucking think about it, the more and more I actually want to do the Neo Geo complete in box bullshit. I think TJ, you were here for that. Like I used to work at for those who were late. I used to work at this mom and pop game store right out of high school that had complete in-box, like Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters, and like really niche games for the Neo Geo. And I'm like, I want, like the more and more I get educated, the more and more I actually want to send off and get something graded. But it's like, should I start small or go big? I'm like, oh fuck, go big. Go big at this point, because it's like complete inbox Neo Geo AVS games. At the time that I was working there back in 2003, they were like maybe $100, $150, $200. Now that COVID happened,
oh yeah,
everything is like astronomically high. I used to buy Dreamcast for $30 all day long, a year and a half. TJ,
wow,
why did you sell them?
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? If we're talking a year and a half ago, and we're talking like a 5 times the price, there just becomes a point where it's like, man, I'll risk it. I hope they go down in the future. If they never do, I'm okay with not owning one. And that's a lot of things that I have to come to terms with, and I'm getting better at coming to terms with my own collection. Just knowing when it is time to sell.
I think what started mine was like I want to, like I wanted to start an N64 collection of stuff that I played as a kid, like your Tony Hawk, your Pokemon Stadium, and then that led into Red and Blue with the transfer packs, the WWF games, the WCW games, and I'm just standing there like, this is a lot more money than I thought. But it's like when I think the only thing that I lost as like, not an ass load, but a substantial amount of money for is that when I bought the last gen PS3s, the one with the sliding door, I bought it for $175.
Like a backwards compatible model, or which one do you mean?
This was the very last model.
Slim model? That like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I bought it for $175 when the market value was a little bit over $100.
Fuck.
So I asked that about $70, $75. And like the God, what are they going for now? The backwards the first gen models are going for $260 to $300. And I'm like, I can take that money, buy a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 1, keep my slim PS3, and I have money left over to start a fucking PS1 collection.
Yeah. Yep. And, with items like that, I genuinely do wonder if it is people playing on it that is keeping the price really high, or if it is a collector's market. Like, where is the breakdown of people that want it. You know what I mean? Because if it is a player demand keeping it high, that will eventually fizzle out, I think, in which case price will fall until potentially a collector demand then reaches it back up. But I would need to know more about it. I don't follow too much of PlayStation 3 actual gaming. So
Oh, he said he didn't sell them. Well, he sold one today to Corey, but still have 5 other Dreamcast. Well, sir, you're slowly
sitting on a retirement fund in Dreamcast right there.
Um.
Crazy.
So, TJ, you saw the picture of the cab that my buddy purchased, right? So, the National Pinball Museum was doing a yearly auction. A friend of mine grabbed a Japanese candy cab with Darkstalkers. I think the Japanese version is Vampire Saviors. So he picked up Vampire Saviors. It is a JAMA with a kick harness to play the CPS2 Capcom games. $5,900. And I'm like,
wow.
Like, I'll bring a roll of quarters. And he goes, nope, it won't take quarters. It takes 100 yen coins. And I'm like, I'll convert them. like I'll get a roll of yen. And
yeah,
and
a pocket full of yen.
And I'll bring liquor. I'll stock your liquor cabinet. And I'm just in there like, you came off like we're jealous because of it, but then again, it's like we've heard that there's some people with the candy cabs or Astro cab. No, he got an Astro City cab for $5,900, but you can have like 2-player Astro cabs or like for a fraction of the price. And I was like, so why'd you buy it for almost $6,000? And he goes, it was the condition. It was in near mint condition the entire way. It's like, well, how much would you have put into it if it wasn't?
Mm-hmm.
It would have put the price tag almost $7,000 to $8,000.
Oh my god!
And I was like, yeah, you came out with a steal, because it's not common that you can find parts to Astro City at all. He could just change it to accept quarters with changing out the mech. Well, TJ, like, you have to take into account these are people who just want it the way that it is. Like my dumpster MVS. Like, I wasn't going to change it. Like, the only thing I would probably change was the layout for the arcade board, but stick some LEDs in it somewhere. Like, with this kind of setup, you kind of expect that LEDs are going to be absolutely fucking everywhere. Like, here,
I need to get myself some.
My keyboard, my computer tower has LEDs.
Yeah, that's where my setup's absolutely lacking. I have a terrible LED to normal light ratio in my room.
Don't go this far. Don't go this far unless you really, really want to. Like, I put it up on my Amazon wish list. And a buddy of mine, bless her heart, I love her to death. She has been my backbone when it comes to me creating content. She's always watching it. She's always listening to it. And all of a sudden she goes, "Here you go." And I'm like, "What?" And all of a sudden I get a confirmation email about, you have been purchased. Your items on your Amazon wish list has been purchased. I'm like, you could have left it in the note instead of telling me before it gets here.
That's still awesome, though. Awesome.
Like, this banner right here, it's a Torchling poster from, I can't remember what year it is. Oh, it's Two-Headed Giant States. So that's 2008. And a buddy of mine comes to me and she goes, "Do you want some magic stuff?" And I'm like, "Define stuff." And she opens up her trunk and sees like these 2 massive tubes that are like 3 feet long. It's like, "Do you want one of those?" I'm like, "It's not going to blow up, is it?" And she's like, "No, just take one." It ends up being 6 of these.
Wow.
and they're selling on eBay for $200 a piece. I'm like, I'm not gonna sell them. I'm gonna give them to a good home, maybe. Just pay for
Yeah,
shipping.
yeah,
And I'm
for
like,
sure, for sure. But crazy. I mean, I might push. Now that you say it, I'm probably going to throw some LEDs on my Christmas list this year and just see, because I don't really want to pay for them. That's why I don't have them. But I'd like to have them.
I'd like to have them, but they're too bougie for me to pay for. So it's like,
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
someone
yeah,
else pay for them.
exactly. Like a man has his limits, right? Like, see, video games are one thing, but like $40 for LEDs, are you fucking out of your mind? So
This is 40 feet of LEDs wrapped in about 10 feet of space. Not to mention, I have one of these shining the red light.
very nice.
I am a sucker for vaporwave shit, as you can tell by the overlay.
Oh yeah,
So
by
I'm
the
like,
whole aesthetic, I love it.
so now
Absolutely love it.
I just need to match this and my keyboard with what's going on behind me, and I should be good.
Then you have your professional setup. That's what it is. The
Pro-
more LEDs, the more professional you are. So
Professional setup, non-professional streamer.
yeah, you got to look the part. I think that's the most important part.
You can pay $15, $20 for a roll, then $10 for Arduino board to do fun things with them.
Hey, that's not bad.
I actually thought about, because I saw a video where you can actually set up a button on your Stream Deck to turn on your LEDs. And I'm like, do I really want to go that far?
Yeah, I don't even have any kind of Stream Deck or anything. So
This little bastard has actually changed 90% of the way that I do things. It's like
really,
hotkeys for video editing, hotkeys for OBS. I even got as far as using them for hotkeys for Final Fantasy 14.
Interesting.
It my baby.
Yeah, that's personally, I'm like, what the hell is? I don't need this. That's like my mindset on it, right? I'm just like, nah.
Yeah. I used to volunteer my time for the Megavision stream team, and they actually go. The manager of the stream team goes, "Hey, I need you to do a favor for me." I'm like, "What do you do? Like, what do you need me to do?" And this is back when I was unemployed. He goes, "You have a lot of time on your hands. I need you to edit 24 hours of continuous gaming footage."
Wow.
Because they do a yearly marathon for Extra Life. They do.
Okay. Yep.
They just play nothing but Dreamcast, and I'm like, do I really? Fuck it. And about hour 12 into it, I get this Stream Deck, and then I'm like hotkeying everything to where, because I am shit when it comes to keyboard shortcuts. But if I see it on a Stream Deck, I know exactly what button I'm pushing.
What software do you use to edit?
I use Filmora.
Okay, yeah. I'm familiar, haven't worked on it a lot. I use Premiere myself.
Ugh. I was lucky enough that a friend of mine goes, "Here's the login information." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's my Premiere too. I'm not paying for that.
I think the way that Filmora works is that it's free, but if you want to like not have the Filmora watermark or anything along the lines, you got to pay at least the base. But it does everything I wanted it to, and when it came to my ill-fated Let's Play series that I try to solo myself, like I was able to do like intro, outro, edit the video, like 45 minutes worth of video. I was able to take care of everything in like less than 20 minutes, render it out the door.
Oh man, that's huge. Yeah, that's great. Like, fantastic. Can't ask for much more in that case.
If you don't want to put out money for a Stream Deck, there's always free alternatives on your phone. I use the Touch Portal, but there are others. The reason why I was so dead set about getting the Stream Deck is because I subscribed using the official Stream Deck app on my phone. I think it was like $7 a month, but then again, it adds up pretty quickly.
So I might have to look at that phone thing though and just see if there are hotkeys and whatnot that would, really help me out.
And also, it kind of doesn't like if you get to the point where you like want to, add production value to your streams,
Yeah.
you can also like use it to switch scenes. Like I could push a button to where I could turn off the names underneath us, or like change overlays, or like go starting soon, or whatever. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
and that's super nice because I don't have any of that hotkeyed, obviously. Like that is just manual clicking. Like, so
Well, you taught me a lot about uh, uh, grading and stuff like that. So time for me to return the favor.
oh yeah, if I get to the point where I'm gonna dive deeper into, like you said, production value stuff, I will be DMing you. So we can go down that whole road. But we're getting close to 9 here. So I am going to say I gotta head out.
All right. Uh, I'll stick around a little bit longer to bullshit with those in chat.
Absolutely.
So
Thanks for having me on, man. Great conversation. Great getting to get to know you. I'm sure we'll be talking more in the future.
will do, sir. Have a good one.
You as well.
All right. So we are going to pop open the Switch. If anyone happens to have any questions, or anything about me as a content creator, or anything along those lines, feel free to ask. Oh, someone followed. I saw the notification pop up. All right, let me give shout outs before we start getting too far. And you're not going to throw away the monitor, are you? Probably not. I'm probably gonna go find it a good home, because I actually want it to be used. It's a let's just go back. Oh nope. Let's go here. Let's go with them. As I get everything set up, let me try to get. Someone needs to set it on a shelf, encased in plastic, and grade it. Shut up, TJ. let me turn on some music. At the very least, make it a nice cat bed. Possibly.